All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rachakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders, the elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, to the men on the highways and the byways that are pushing out this word, the truth, the sincerity, and to the remnant men, women, and children of the elect. To you all, I say Shalom. My name is Ahmawan Ahyash, and I am back with another lesson through the power and the spread of Yahawah. And Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. I want to go into the email I got from Natural News. I am subscribed to their emails, their newsletters, and this one notification came up, and it's something I wanted to jump into and continue to show the signs of the times where we are in prophecy, and make sure that we keep our eye on the pulse of this thing, our eyes and our ears glued to the tube, so to speak, you know what I mean? Because as I always say, there's nothing else going on but prophecy, right? So our minds should be focused on these things, and it could sound repetitive, but that's actually a good thing, right? A lot of people get turned off by the repetitiveness of the message and of the things that we speak about. The news, the prophecy, people think it's repetitive, so they may not think it's going to happen because it's like, we've heard that before, but at the end of the day, the repetitiveness of it is actually a good thing, because as we report on these things, it's not like we make these things up. These are the news reports, these are the things that we hear from, and that we actually see. Because if we talk about an economic collapse, which I'm going to read right now, you can see the prices going up. You can see what's going on globally and what's affecting the prices. Why things are leading to these reports. And at the same time, we understand propaganda. We understand the narrative is shifting based on who has control of it. We understand that. But again, it's about chewing the meat, spitting out the bones, understanding. Having that level of understanding. At the end of the day, Yahawah has given us this word, this truth, and he has allowed us the spirit to link it, to measure the times, and link it to prophecy. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, that's what we're doing in the day in and day out. These videos from Great Millstone, the Psalm with the elders and apostles on down, they come out in a way through the power and the spread of Yahawah. We don't make this stuff up. All right. So, I just wanted to make that clear. This is from naturalnews.com. It says the coming economic collapse will be 3 times worse than COVID, and it can't be stopped. Okay. And this is what we're hearing from a lot of these financial analysts. They're basically saying, the collapse, this financial collapse here in America is inevitable. It's bound to happen. Okay. The United States, the economy, the currency, it's all just defaulted. It doesn't have any legs to stand on anymore. It's at this point, it's about printing money, and it's about trying to salvage what it once was. But at the end of the day, the scriptures say Babylon shall not be healed, right? Because it's basically imploding from the inside. It's falling from the inside, right? So the economic collapse, and we've seen what happened during COVID. During COVID, they printed, I believe they said anywhere from between 75 to 85% of the current circulation of the US dollar has been printed during COVID, which is insane, right? So that's another sign that this currency is dead and that this place is about to collapse. So again, it says the coming economic collapse will be 3 times worse than COVID, and it can't be stopped, right? It says, introduction to shocking stupidity at the heart of our system, right? It says, I'm watching the numbers flicker on the screen. Brent crude near $92, WTI pushing $97, and I feel a profound sense of dread. This isn't just market fluctuation. It's the leading edge of a systemic failure so vast it will make the COVID lockdowns look like a mid-rehearsal or mild rehearsal. Okay? It says the mainstream economic models that guide our world are dangerously broken, treating the lifeblood of our civilization, energy, as a mere optional input, interchangeable with capital or labor. This is not an academic error. It is a catastrophic lie that has set the stage for a collapse I believe will be 3 times more devastating than the pandemic. All right, because again, he mentioned that the current economic model, right, is bound to collapse, right? And this is why we always say that this is an orchestrated collapse, because they actually want to get rid of the current mainstream economic model. For what? For what, you ask, right? It's for the implementation of this new technocratic system, okay? Which involves digital currencies, CBDCs, programmable money, concepts like UBI, okay, which all will culminate in the MOTB, the implementation of that micro CHIP, okay? So this is what it's setting the stage for. And again, it all makes sense. It all lines up with prophecy. It all lines up what we see. You look at this advanced technology and everything that we're seeing, it all perfectly lines up, all right? It says, in my view, we are being lied to on a scale that defies comprehension. The current paper price for oil is a government-constructed narrative, a desperate fiction woven by authorities to maintain a false sense of stability while the physical foundations of our world crack beneath us. This manipulation isn't just an economic tweak, it's a system of fundamental disconnect between the models of our leaders, trust, and biophysical reality that actually power our lives. The coming energy shock, driven by geopolitics and ecological limits, will cause a GDP contraction far beyond anything our experts are predicting, leading not to a recession, but a genuine societal unraveling, okay, which is a collapse, which is an absolute societal collapse. And when you look at prophecies like Jacob's trouble, storehouses shall be empty, men invading one another because of the lack of bread, sedition among men, this lines directly up with Bible prophecy, right? A societal unraveling, right, lines up with Bible prophecy. When they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh, right? Famine, pestilence, plagues, wars, rumors of war. This is all right in front of your face. All right? I just want to read one more part of this. It says, the neoclassical lie, why interchangeable inputs is economic fantasy. The root of this impending disaster lies in a core tenet of mainstream neoclassical economics. For decades, models like the ubiquitous Cobb-Douglas production function have treated energy as just another commodity, perfectly swappable with capital or labor. This is a catastrophic error in logic, a fantasy that severs economics from the laws of physics and thermodynamics. In these models, energy is often not included whatsoever as a factor of production or is assigned a trivial value because advanced economies spend only 5 to 6% of their economic input on it. This monetary myopia ignores the brute physical fact that fossil-derived energy gives us the equivalent of 70 to 8% energy workers doing the hard physical work of the past. Okay, and I'll just finish reading off. It says that this flawed thinking leads to grossly unrealistic policy prescriptions and a lethal underestimation of risk. A standard neoclassical model might predict that a 20% loss in energy availability would lead to only a trivial 1% drop in GDP. This is the kind of comforting nonsense peddled by institutions clinging to a broken paradigm. And this is a broken paradigm. It says it's a thinking error that economics Charles Hugh Smith described as a model veering into hallucinations that are accepted as accurate reflections of the real world. When your foundational model treats the fundamental fuel of all work as optional, every prediction you make is built on sand. This isn't just wrong, it's the intellectual architecture of our collective ruin. And again, the current model, right? The current economic model isn't going to work. So when it says here, when your foundational model treats the fundamental fuel of all work as optional, every prediction you make is built on sand, right? So what people are seeing and expecting, the expectation for these current money markets you know, it's actually gonna fall. It's gonna eventually collapse because it's based on this current model, this current system, and this current system is it's gonna be a thing of the past soon, right? Which is gonna create a collapse because, you know, and that's why we're gonna see bank runs. You know, we're gonna see people in absolute desperation mode because what you have invested your money into, whether it's any type of stocks or 401ks, lifetime insurance, these life insurance plans, all these different things, it's gonna collapse. It's gonna collapse, and you're gonna be left with nothing. Okay, you're gonna be left with nothing, and then Esau's gonna be there to swoop in and say, "Here, I got UBI for you. Okay, I have a universal basic income for you, but in order to keep it and maintain it, you're gonna have to take this chip." Right, and that's where this thing is headed. That's where it's leading up to. All right. So again, we may sound repetitive when it comes to this stuff, but at the end of the day, the facts fall in line with prophecy. All right. The news, the current events, what's actually happening, not only here in America, but around the globe, lines up with Bible prophecy. All right. So I wanted to read that. And then I just wanted to, I saw this, which I thought was funny. This notification, well, this is coming from fortune.com. It says these Americans are refusing to pay their taxes in protest of the Trump administration. So again, as time goes on, we talk about the infighting here in America. You know, Egyptian shall fight against Egyptian. How shall a house stand? I think it's Matthew 12 and 25. Let me go there because I don't want to chop up the scripture, but let me just go there real quick. You know, we're seeing a lot of, and this is a part of the infighting, right? People are saying, "What the fuck's this guy doing, man?" You know, and especially a lot of these MAGAites, you know, these people who voted for this man, and they're looking at him like, what the fuck is Trump doing? You know, everything is in disarray. None of this makes sense. Everything is is out of order. Prices are going up. It's not looking good. And we need to protest this man. Matthew 12 and 25, and Yahawashi knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. All right. So this is a city divided against itself, and it's not going to stand. Yahawashi has plans to crumple this place. All right. And that's what we're literally we're watching this thing happen in front of our eyes. Okay, because people aren't happy with this. People aren't happy with the state of the United States of America. All right, and you can expect come July 4th, Trump is going to try to rally and try to get things together for the 250-year celebration of America. But at the end of the day, it's not going to work, man. It's not going to work. People are fed up, right? The job market sucks. All right. The cost of living is on the rise while people's incomes aren't growing. It's getting more expensive just to live, just for your daily expenses, you know. So this place is just spiraling down. It says verse 26, and if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Right? And because a kingdom can't stand if it's divided, you know. And we're watching these hardcore MAGA supporters currently speaking out against Trump. You know, this is what we're seeing. I want to show you this little clip real quick. I saved this in my shorts. Look at what's going on at the grocery stores.
Spokane, Washington, local truck stop out in the valley. What the?
And not just the gas, the box of tomatoes. What the? 75.
There's no reason for oil to be this expensive. This is at Sam's Club. No goddamn reason for this.
Gotta be smoking crack, because I don't care how giant of a size it is. $9.49 for fucking Raisin Bran, or $9.99.
$12 for some ground beef.
This is insane. This is $10 for a case of Gatorade.
Y'all, why is Kool-Aid 50 cents? 2 for $1?
Yo, Walmart, word to my mother. $32 though? So, one thing of chips is $5.50? A small little bag like this?
Can somebody tell me why these chicken wings $30.80 for 10 of them? I might as well go to a restaurant.
Right? So, there you have it.
Right?
There you have it.
Spokane, Washington.
Spokane, Washington, $7 a gallon. Amen. The Lord is systematically bringing this place to its needs. And Kal Halal Yahawah Yahawashi for that. Okay, because we need our kingdom, man. We need Yahawashi's kingdom to be established. This place gotta go, man. This place gotta absolutely go. All right. Let me just go since I quoted it earlier. This is the book of Jeremiah 51. Start at verse 8. Verse 7. Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord Yahawah Yahawashi's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. This is why you see now, Trump's calling for a lot of those European nations to help with that whole Strait of Hormuz situation. They're like, man, go kick rocks, bro. Go kick rocks. You started this nonsensical war, and you thought it was something that's going to be something that is not, and now you got to go handle that. You know what I'm saying? Verse 8, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her take balm for her pain? If so be, she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let her go every one into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. Right? So Babylon won't be healed from what we're seeing. Things aren't gonna, at this point it's up and it's stuck. You know what I'm saying? Like you might see prices go down a little bit, but again, these conflicts with these other nations, with Iran, you might see it cool off for a second, but this is a part of a bigger problem that America has. All right, America's a bully, and they're allied with Israel, another bully, another terrorist organization. All right, because that's really all these countries are. They're terrorist organizations, man, and they're about bringing bloodshed and death and destruction and destabilizing other nations. That's what they're about. All right, because of their greed and their filth and their absolute wickedness. Okay, Esau, Edom. That's why the scriptures say the least of the flock shall draw them out. Again, more prophecy. We're literally watching this thing play out. Okay, and we don't give a damn if you believe it or not. All right, scriptures say whether they shall hear or forbear. Right, so we gonna preach this word. We gonna do the work of Yahawah, whether these people like it or not. Right, whether these people believe it or not. Right. At the end of the day, because it's going to get a lot worse than what you see now. And a lot of these scriptures we just going to continue to bring out. All right. 1 Thessalonians 5:3. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travaileth upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So you see people moving around as if it's all good. Yeah. Even at the point where you see prices go up, you still see people moving around. Their routine is their routine, but at the end of the day, when that routine gets interrupted, and when there's martial law on these streets, and you can't go, here and there, you get stopped. It's 15-minute cities. You can't go 15 minutes outside of where you live, and the banks ain't got no money, and the storehouses are empty. Man, when shit hits the fan, let's say there's a grid attack, and it ain't no electricity, none. Hey man, when all hell's breaking loose, okay, then people are going to acknowledge what we've been speaking and preaching, starting with the elders and apostles of Great Millstone on down, that it's true. Because and I emphasize the elder apostles, the elder bishops, and the prophets of Great Millstone, because these other camps, they're just not prophesying. They're not prophesying of the times to come, right? And we don't say that as a form of hate. We're watching it. We're seeing it. They're not. You know what I mean? They're not going into the prophecies. They're not warning the house of Israel. All right. And we are. All right. So I'm going to leave it there, man. Just wanted to bring this out and show, you know, more events that are leading to the end. All right. So with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Makakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders, the elder bishops, the great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect. Shalom.